All right, we're back live again. Technical difficulties. I'll explain it when we get on the audio podcast, but here we are again. Where more? Okay, there we go. Okay, and we're back. Serious technical difficulty in that scenario. I don't know what happened. Both the live stream and the audio crashed at the same time, but my computer was still up and running just fine. So I have no idea what occurred. Nonetheless, we will carry on and continue on with. I need that relief. I'm a little grumpy all of a sudden. But anyway, we will carry on to our topic that we were discussing before, where I was saying, if Bathurst wasn't such a special track, it wouldn't be considered a great race, because I don't think the cars going around it are all that particularly interesting in comparison to what we see in the IMSA racing, because you get those cars plus more.
I agree. It's I don't know if you ever watched like all the other GT3 endurance series that go around around the world, because the racing is great, but you just struggle to get into it. It's like, I'm trying to think. Imagine watching. Here we go. You'll get this. Imagine watching college football.
Ooh, I like that.
But there's no teams. It's just a bunch of random people who just decided to play.
I wouldn't watch it.
Right? It's missing. You can't root for anybody.
Yeah.
You know?
Now, here's the interesting thing. Do you root for teams or do you root for drivers in Formula One?
Teams.
You root for the team in Formula One?
Yeah. I don't really care about the drivers.
So who's your team then?
Right now?
Yeah.
Spiritually, I want Haas to do well, but I know that ain't going to happen.
Right.
But I'm rooting for Ferrari, I think, most of the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, see, I'm kind of the opposite in reality. Like, I liked Red Bull, but Ricciardo's not there anymore, so I don't care about Red Bull. I like Haas, but I hate both the drivers, so I kind of don't like Haas.
Yeah.
See,
I view the drivers are just temporary, and at a team like Red Bull, I think it's more important because it's such a big team. They really can get whoever they want, you would think. Whereas Haas, maybe that's all they can do. Or for whatever reason, maybe it's political within the team. Who knows? Yeah. But or at least Rossi. Get Rossi.
Literally anybody. I've said it before. We have a Frenchman and a whiny Swissman.
Yeah.
Or Danish.
Yeah.
I think he's Danish.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I'm a team. I care about the manufacturers. Same thing at Le Mans.
See, I agree at Le Mans.
Yeah.
Because that's more of it. I think endurance racing kind of caters more to manufacturers than it does drivers themselves.
Yeah. But I will say there are some drivers that I actually care about, like Alonso, Kimi.
Naturally root for Alonso. Yeah. I've never been anti Wayne Taylor Racing, but I was actively rooting for Wayne Taylor Racing at Daytona this year.
So,
and Jordan Taylor's a cool guy too. I mean,
he's hilarious.
He is
so funny. But yeah, for me, it's more about the innovation, the technology. I want to see new things. Like this year, I didn't go to the Road Before the 24 because there was nothing interesting.
No, you're right.
I was just like, what am I going to see? The same cars that I saw last year. So that's one cool thing about Formula One. The cars are always new. It's not, it's just the same old thing I saw before, and they're going to do the same old thing that they did last year.
Even if they're not new, it's still an experience. It's so, like, the experience is so new by nature.
Yeah, exactly. It's fresh.
Yeah.
That's why I got so mad at Ford, too, with the same livery for, like, 3 years in a row. Like, come on.
Yeah. Find something to change up. I mean, Porsche is exceptionally good at doing that.
Yeah.
We've seen a Rothmans livery. We've seen a Pink Pig livery. We've seen...
It's so lazy when you don't switch up the livery, because the whole point of racing is to promote your brand.
Yeah.
And when you don't go, hey, look at us, what are you doing?
Right. To even change it subtly. Like, you can keep the same colors, the same kind of attitude towards it. I mean, Ferrari's never been white. They've always been red.
Well, they always have a
white
new livery
and stuff like that. Yeah, there's a bunch of little things that go on. Yeah.
Anyway.
But nonetheless, so we talked about the Bathurst. We talked about Formula One. I thought there was something else we were going to talk about before we dove. Yeah, I thought do we have nothing else prior to that? I guess not.
No, because the rest is going to be rambling.
Yeah, so Lee and David have talked about sim racing before on this podcast, and I think the episode was called "This Is a Simulation" or something like that.
Maybe.
It's a couple of months ago. If you guys want to go back and listen to it, but Lee has upgraded his sim system that he has, and is going to be selling me his old one. And I don't really know what I'm getting, but I'll give it a whirl, kind of thing. So, you've driven on his system before, I believe. No,
Never.
have you not?
Never.
He bought, from what I understand, he bought the kind of the base Logitech one. So it's
Yeah.
still a relatively high quality system. It's gear driven.
Yep.
It's
So it'll go.
I don't care about that.
I don't think it's a big deal either. I'm just saying.
You heard my computer. It's
Yeah.
not quiet either. So it's gear driven wheel. The pedals I would imagine are going to be crap.
Yeah.
By
Really
nature.
crap.
Yeah. And then it's an H pattern, which
See, that'll be fun.
I think that'll be fun, but I also think that it's probably going to feel really bad too, because it's going to feel plasticky.
I'm trying to remember. I think that's the same one Drake had. It was. You need to mount it on something solid, otherwise it's going to feel really bad.
I think what will likely happen is I'm either going to build a bracket for the chair that this camera's on right now.
Yeah.
Or because that chair actually is a racing seat kind of look to it.
Does look kind of.
So if I build, what I'm thinking is build a, a slanted, almost like your TV table, your TV tray when you eat dinner.
Yeah.
Build something like that where the wheel mounts directly to that. It slides on. There's a counterweight at the bottom, so it's real heavy. And then you can mount the gear shifter next to it, and the pedals are mounted to the same thing, so everything moves in unison.
I will say,
we do need to talk about your build as well.
Yeah, I was gonna say we could build something, but depending on your space, that could be a problem. Probably want something sort of that you could just fold up and put in a closet.
But making it foldable is not particularly difficult. You can buy hinges.
Yeah.
So I'm not immensely concerned about that. We'll just have to come up with something, but it shouldn't be difficult.
Yeah, I mean, the big concern for me is one, you need something sturdy with the wheel.
Yeah.
Because it's sort of like if you don't have the wheel mounted sturdy, then it's sort of like playing a first person shooter with really bad ping. And you can learn to deal with it, but you almost have to think like ahead.
Mm-hmm.
You can't react as much. And then the pedals, you just need something solid for the brake, but I don't think those pedals will have too much.
There's no clutch pedal on it, is there?
There should be if he's got a shifter.
I don't remember the Logitech ones having that, but
it should.
Okay.
Yeah.
That'd be nice. I mean, it's
it'll definitely. It'll definitely have a clutch pedal.
Okay.
Because Lee was drifting all the time. Remember he built that e-brake?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Nonetheless, I'll be able to drive with you guys, which will be nice because it's been a long time since we've done some proper racing.
Yeah, on like Forza or something. Man, yeah. I do miss playing Forza.
Well, because it was so easy to just jump in and play.
Yeah. This will be different. It's very serious.
Yeah, it is.
It's
what am I getting myself into?
You're getting yourself into basically like CS:GO, but for cars. Video game cars racing.
Okay.
It's like that. Like if you don't, you have to practice it to get really good at it. You can't just jump on and be, oh yeah, this is easy, I'm good.
That's fine.
You know.
But if I got a car that I got comfortable in a certain class and
you jumped out of it,
no, and it was a class that we all agreed on, we could have close racing, right?
Oh yeah, no. I will say, from experience in Project Cars, I don't play Assetto much, but in Project Cars, the GT3 cars are pretty good, most of them. And that was all. I mean, that's pretty much the best class in racing, really, is the GT3 cars.
Yeah.
So, and they have a huge variety. They got the Bentleys, the Ferraris, Fords, Chevy, everything. So that'll be a lot of fun. And the best thing about the sim games, like proper games, is in Forza, they take features away as they improve the game. Whereas Project Cars, there's so many features. You have a full day-night cycle. You have a full weather system. You can literally say, I want like a 20% chance of rain. It might rain, it might not. You don't know when it's going to rain. You have to, and you plan your strategy accordingly. You have fuel load that you will burn off. And when you run out of gas, you will stop on the track dead, stuck. That happened to me yesterday. I was on a really good lap too. But you have to think about the tires. You have to think about the temperature, the ambient temperature, track temperature.
Okay.
So it's full on, but that's what makes it interesting.
And is Project Cars 2 the best game to purchase for this?
I think so, personally, because Assetto is good if you just want to dick around, and I think I don't think it's as serious
That's
as
the one that
Project
Lee
Cars.
drifts on a lot, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
there's a lot of modded cars and sort of fun stuff you could do.
Okay.
But to me, Project Cars just is a more well-rounded, better package.
And Forza is not an option on PC.
I think it is.
No, but the gameplay of it is so bad it's not an option, is it?
Forza, you can jump into Forza, have a good time, and you can modify cars. But after, like, simple things like Project Cars, I can turn the game on, and within like 2 minutes, literally, I'm in the game racing. I can set up a private test session, or I can set up a race. I'm in the game going. Forza, it's gotten so complicated. You got so many menus to go through. If you just want to go on a simple test drive, it takes like 10 minutes.
Okay.
It's really frustrating. And
so it's not necessarily how the game runs, it's the design of the game.
Yeah, you can just tell that they're trying to make it look like, whoa, look at our new game. It's so fancy. And they didn't focus on like the core mechanics. Whereas Project Cars, you can tell like it's just like, here's our menu. What do you want to do? You want to race or do you want to do a test? That's it.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah,
so. I'll be really intrigued. I definitely my nature as well as anybody. I'm gonna want to try and drift something, and I'm gonna want to race an old 911.
Yeah, you're gonna get frustrated with the drifting.
I would imagine. But I would imagine it's very rewarding once you start to get it right as well.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is it's really, really frustrating until you realize, wait, I really need to focus here.
Well, I'm definitely gonna buy the Formula One game.
The Codemaster games are fantastic.
That's what I've heard.
Fantastic.
Because Codemasters does the dirt games too,
yes,
don't they? Yeah.
It is by far the best force feedback. When I play the dirt games, I'm just like, please make a game like Project Cars. It would be so good.
Yeah. But it would be fun to do Formula One.
Oh, yeah. I don't think the racing would be close just because of the nature of Formula One.
Yeah.
But I am serious. You would love that game.
Okay.
You'd love the career mode. The feedback
I had
is
the one on
fantastic.
Xbox and it was phenomenal, but I didn't have a wheel for it. So getting a wheel might make it even more entertaining.
Highly recommend it.
Okay.
But yeah, it's just more full on, and I like the idea of us doing like a mini endurance race, which is something that you really can't do like in Forza.
Mini endurance race for something that's coming out.
Yes.
Hint, hint, wink, wink.
But we can. You can literally set in Project Cars if you wanted to. I think you can like legit do a 24-hour race if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Full weather, like I said, full day-night cycle and everything. Strategy, you have to do all that. But you can also accelerate that cycle. So you can have a 24-hour cycle in 24 minutes if you wanted to. So there's a lot of options. You can do crazy stuff. You can do the full Nordschleife in snow at 0 degrees in a Formula One car if you wanted to.
That's all on Project Cars too.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's rallycross cars. There's rallycross tracks.
Because there's a lot of problems with Project Cars 1.
There's a lot of problems with Project Cars 2, to be honest. But
okay. Is it like Battlefield? Like the racing equivalent of Battlefield where you're like, this is still a great game, but man, are there bugs.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, if you buy it when it first comes out, you're just like, who the hell let this out? Like, how is this okay? People paid for this. But no, and the other thing is don't get caught up in tuning the wheel. Find something that works and just, because the problem is...
And then get used to it. It's like changing your mouse all the time, or your keyboard all the time.
Yes, there's so many adjustments that you can get lost in trying to make it feel perfect. You just need to find something that works good enough and then just drive.
Well, I think that'll be the nice thing about this wheel in particular is it is more simplistic.
Yeah, mine has way too many settings. I've turned most of the settings back to auto because luckily it does have some auto settings, and then I only adjust in game because otherwise it's too complex. There's so many variations, and what I end up doing is just sitting there trying to, it doesn't feel quite right. Let me adjust this. Let me adjust that. And I never actually do anything.
You've done like 2 laps in an hour.
Yeah, so it's not that fun.
Gotcha.
But no, I think you'll really enjoy the AI is good in Project Cars. Like you can do proper racing.
It was great in 1 as well.
Yeah, and you can start off in like the little Genettas, and it's like Spec Miata basically. I had so much fun. I did like a full race qualifying session. Practice sessions are really important to learn the tracks and the braking zones.
Yeah, I mean that's how the Formula One games always were.
Yeah, you can't just jump in and just be perfect. So it's a lot of fun. I think you'll enjoy it, and I think you'll quickly decide that you need a better rig.
Likely, it's likely to happen. Yeah,
but you can let that be a natural progression. I mean, you're getting a good deal on it, and I think if we get to play together on PC, I think that'll be a lot of fun.
That'll be the big thing.
Because PC is better, by the way. I haven't played Project Cars on PC. Maybe I'll talk to Lee about that, but it's probably a little bit better in terms of the sort of how often it updates. So like the pedal, like there's a resolution, if you will, in terms of like how the game is communicating to the wheel and the pedals. And usually on PC, it's a little quicker and more refined.
Yeah.
I found that at least with Assetto Corsa especially.
Okay.
It's way better on the PC than it is on Xbox. So I think it'll be really cool.
Cool.
I'm excited for it.
Yeah, I am too. And that's the thing. We can start to, we've talked about it before, doing like a game night with all of us. And eventually I know Drake wants to rebuild a sim rig at some point. So if he gets
he'll get immensely jealous if we're all playing Project Cars.
Yeah.
He's not.
Yeah. And Lee's never getting rid of his. You're never getting rid of yours. So,
no.
Even if I have a cheap one that's good enough, I was never super fast in the games anyway. I just got irritated.
Yeah. Well,
but it's for me, like I just enjoyed an excuse. But usually the problem was that the more beers you drink, the less effective you are at racing.
That's just true.
And I normally play video games with beer in hand. I don't do very many things without beer in hand. So it'll be fun. And if we turn this into a game night kind of thing, we can give our viewers something else to watch. It's something silly, but there's no reason we can't put together a quick random sequence of clips and stuff like that.
If we could somehow turn that into a YouTube video, I think that'd be really entertaining.
Yeah. Yeah, Thursday night race once a week or whatever. I guess we can't do Thursday night.
Hey, we could compete for Roger.
Yeah, we could. We could pass around Roger. The only problem is we can't really ship Roger
to Lee.
To Lee or Drake, yeah.
That's true. We'll figure that out.
Yeah.
I like the idea of that though.
I do too. We'll have to come up with something. What if can you do liveries in Project Cars too?
You can't make any. No, we couldn't make like a stupid livery.
I was
going to
say, yeah, you got to pass around the livery. So regardless of the car that you're the one stuck with the all pink livery or something like that for the next race.
That would be funny.
Yeah, we'll come up with something clever, some devious plot that I'll end up getting stuck with. But no, I'm excited for it. I know throughout that episode I was vehemently against getting a rig, and the reason for that is because they are exceptionally expensive. But Lee's given me a great deal on this one. Just kind of recoup some of the costs that he's spent on the one that he just got. So at that point, I might as well, and I'm excited for it. It's not like if somebody gave me a rig, I would never have turned it down.
Yeah.
And Lee is effectively giving me a rig with a great deal. So if I'm not going to turn it down.
Yeah. No, I understand. And, eventually if you end up building something, you can sort of spec it out. I will say after doing mine, I have run into some problems.
Yeah, let's dive a little bit into the build that you just did, because you built a whole setup to host your rig.
Yeah.
That it's almost contained within itself.
Yes, that was the original plan, although I've had to deviate.
Okay.
So originally I was going to build something that was basically I had a power strip on it, plug everything to power strip. It houses everything. All I had to do is I can roll it around the house, plug it in wherever I want. When, if I got to tuck it in the garage, I just roll it in the garage.
Okay.
But problem is it's pretty sturdy, but I have a load cell brake, which is very heavy. And so when I stomp on that, the whole thing jiggles. And part of the problem is I put it on caster wheels, which you're like, okay, that's fine. But the bearings in the wheels are not made to the tightest tolerance. And so it's literally just sort of jiggling on the bearings. The wheels aren't moving, but it's moving on top of, the whole...
It's ultra realistic, David.
Yeah, no. It's really annoying. And I'm thinking about taking the caster wheels off and putting 2 wheels at the back. And then so that way if I have to move it, I can sort of drag it around like a suitcase. Mm-hmm. So that way it rests on the carpet.
You could do that, or you could get the caster wheels that have the brake on it as well.
No, I have that. That's what I'm saying. That's the problem. When I say the bearings, it's the bearings that allows the caster wheel to rotate on the around the Y axis. That's the problem.
Okay. I was gonna say they're not doing any X-axis movement. If they're doing X-axis movement, I don't know how the hell you mounted your.
Yeah, because that was the idea. I was like, oh, I'll lock them down; it won't move. And the problem, the wheels don't move, but the thing jiggles in the bearings.
The other thing you could do too is just get foldable brackets and mount those wheels to the foldable brackets. So when you then you essentially set the whole rig on the ground.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I'll have to figure out what I want to do for that. And also, I think it'll depend. I'll see how much I move it realistically.
Yeah, because if you don't move it, you might as well just remove the wheels and not.
Yeah, and then like if I gotta move it, I'll just throw the dollies under it.
Yeah,
done.
It's not immensely heavy, is it?
It's not too heavy. But I also have a really light wheel on there. Because, okay, part of the thing is I was going to put a real seat on it, so that way I have a seat rail, and I can move it backwards and forwards, which I think would be nice. But I ended up using the seat that I had from before, and it works pretty well. It's comfortable. But the problem is the driving position is a little off, so the wheel's kind of high. And so I have a monitor arm, the same monitor arm you have.
Oh, you did find it?
Yeah.
It's a great arm.
Yeah. The only issue is that there's no way to lock the monitor.
No, there isn't.
From moving. So every time I hit the brakes really hard, it tweaks out a little. And after about 20 minutes, the monitor's like a few degrees off.
Ooh.
And I keep having to put it back. It's not a big deal, and I think I can find a way to sort of lock it off so that it doesn't do that. But yeah,
What? Sorry. One of the dogs just pecked the door open and then stared at me through the small crack like, I need to see you.
But yeah, so I need to make some adjustments, but it's pretty solid right now. It's really nice having a solid brake pedal and being able to, if it's
you
almost
have the progressive brake pedal, right? The one that feels closest to a car.
Yeah, the load cell. Yeah. So it's about the pressure you put on it, not necessarily the travel.
Okay.
And the wheel, having the wheel solid is sort of like going to a 144 hertz monitor.
It's the most important thing.
Yeah, it's like, oh wow, it actually reacts to my inputs now instead of that having that lag time when the whole thing's moving.
Lee claims on this one, he was telling me, he's like, there's like 8 degrees of play in either direction. He's like, there's nothing when the force feedback comes in, and then all of a sudden you're good.
I don't think it'll be that bad. I mean,
Lee is notorious for complaining about very minute things.
He does exaggerate a little bit.
But we'll find out. Either way, like I said, I'm very excited about it. I want a rig, but I've never been willing to spend the money on it, if that makes sense. Like, I want a boat. I've not been willing to spend the money on a boat.
Yeah. I understand. I'm excited, though. I think it'll be a lot of fun. We can do some fun races and...
Yeah, and that's the kind of
shame
stuff.
Drake for not having one.
Yeah, we'll just have to, every time we're on, we'll just have to send him a terrible message.
You'll be like, Drake, we're having so much fun right now. We're doing GT3 cars on a rallycross course.
We could even post it to like the drivers only page. Like, look at how much fun we're having.
I will say, I did have some fun one time on Project Cars, and I did a Zonda R on the Daytona rallycross course.
That sounds terrible.
In the snow.
It's a bad idea.
Yeah, it did not go well.
No, I can't imagine. Can you do kind of the wacky racing in Project Cars the way we used to in Forza, where you just come up with like build a Lotus Elan that's required to have an LS?
You can't build anything, but you can turn the Lotus 98T up to full boost, and that's pretty crazy.
Okay, so we can still do some shenanigans.
Oh yeah, there are shenanigans to be had.
Okay.
That car is totally undrivable.
Okay.
It's spun.
Okay.
You don't even hear it coming. So, it's just...
It's like the Formula 1 car in, what was that, Forza 5 or 6 or something like that?
Yeah.
That just...
Undrivable. Yeah. Totally undrivable. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Well, anyway, we're going to cut this episode relatively short because there's just not a bunch of news to dive into, and I don't think you guys want to hear us rant about racing on Sims for another 20 minutes or so. We don't really have anything else that we need to dive into either.
I don't think so.
Yeah. So... we are going to pass on a list this week just because the lists that were available were meh at best. So we will be back next week to provide you with a lot more content and all of the remaining liveries that are left to be released in Formula 1, which should be really interesting.
It will be fun.
Make sure to follow us on Instagram for that. I will be trying to post every single livery that gets released, the press photos of the livery, so that way those of you that follow us can see and follow along the same way we would. But outside of that, like I said, follow us on all of our social media. It's Drivers Only USA on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. It's also Drivers Only USA on YouTube. Hello to all of our live streamers. Thank you again for paying attention to us. Sorry about the technical difficulties tonight.
Not our fault.
No idea what happened. But anyway, David, go ahead and end us on a single word.
Conteri, I think it was.
What? Oh, what did I say? Carry on and continue on. Continuary? Is that what I said?
I think it was Conteri. I'm gonna go with Quinteri.
All right. Anyway, thank you guys.